All right, so John Quincy Adams. So this dude was the sixth president of the United States, serving from 1825 to 1829. So we're in the beginning of not the beginning, but like the first kind of the second quarter, I guess you call it, the second quarter of the 19th century. He previously served as the eighth United States Secretary from 1817 to 1825. So what the hell is a Secretary of State? That is a member of the executive branch of the federal government. Excuse me. I'm going to take that in a second. Sorry. Previously served as the eighth Secretary of State. We're not sure what that is. Some sort of seems like a secretary who is in charge of administration and stuff like that. During his long diplomatic and political career, Adams served as ambassador and also as a member of the United States Congress, which is a part of the bicameral government of the United States of America. There's the Congress and the Senate, I think. The Congress is bicameral and is composed of the Senate and the House of Representatives. Excuse me. So he served as a member of the United States Congress representing Massachusetts in both chambers. So he served in both chambers. He was the eldest son of John Adams, who was a president, of course. He was the third president? No. Second president. Second president. It was Washington, Adams, Madison, then Jefferson, I think. All right, so who served as the second president of the United States from 1797 to 1801. And First Lady Abigail Adams, initially a Federalist, conservative and nationalist political party. Like his father, he won election to the presidency as a member of the Democratic Republican Party, and later, in the mid-1830s, became affiliated with the Whig Party. The Whig Party was a mid-19th century political party in the United States, alongside the Democratic Party. It was one of the two major parties in the late 1830s, in the early 1850s, and part of the second party system. Interesting. Something that doesn't exist today. Let's have a look at the pic. Ooh, what the hell does that mean? Daguerreotype. What the hell does that even mean? So a daguerreotype is a photograph taken by an early photographic process employing an iodine-sensitive silvered plate and mercury vapor. Okay, because all photographs have some sort of sensitive element that is sensitive to photons. In this case, it's iodine sensitive. And I guess it's getting bombarded with mercury vapor, which creates a picture. And it's called a daguerreotype. All right, you learn something every day. So that's the pic. That's the man. It's weird because the picture looks almost like a painting, the effect of it. He's got the mutton chops, looking not particularly happy. You're pleased, you're positive. It's kind of grim-faced, but that's what we have. Let's keep reading. So, born in Braintree. I wonder if they have high IQs there. So, born in Braintree, Massachusetts, Adams spent much of his youth in Europe, where his father served as diplomat. After returning to the United States, Adams established a successful legal practice in Boston. In 1794, President George Washington appointed Adams as the U.S. ambassador to the Netherlands, or Holland, as they call it, and Adams would serve in high-ranking diplomatic positions until 1801, when Thomas Jefferson took office as president. Federalist leaders in Massachusetts I just, little side note, it's cool how he was before he. Actually, I don't. I wanted to say something like, they served their time in Europe before they became presidents. I feel like I've read this before on a previous president. I can't remember which one, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that still happens with presidents. Like when was the last president who served as an ambassador to a European nation or something like that? In 1794, President. Where were we? I cut us mid-sentence, so I'm going to start the sentence all over. So in 1794, President George Washington appointed Adams as the U.S. ambassador to the Netherlands, and Adams would serve in high-ranking diplomatic posts until 1801, when Thomas Jefferson took office as president. Federalist leaders in Massachusetts arranged for Adams' election to the United States Senate in 1802. But Adams broke with the Federalist Party over foreign policy and was denied re-election. In 1809, President James Madison, a member of the Democratic-Republican Party, appointed Adams as the U.S. ambassador to Russia. Multilingual, Adams held diplomatic posts for the duration of the Madison presidency, and he served as part of the American delegation that negotiated the end to the War of 1812. In 1817, President James Monroe selected Adams as his Secretary of State. In that role, Adams negotiated the Adams-Onis Treaty, which provided for the American acquisition of Florida. He also helped formulate the Monroe Doctrine, which became a key tenet of U.S. foreign policy in 1818. In 1818, Adams was elected a member of the American Philosophical Society in Philadelphia. Interesting. I've never heard of this. There's apparently an American Philosophical Society, the APS. Let's keep reading. Let's blow through this. We got a bit more. Adams, Andrew Jackson, William H. Crawford, who is that? And Henry Clay, all members of the Democratic-Republican Party, competed in the 1824 presidential election. Because no candidate won a majority of the electoral votes, the House of Representatives held a contingent election, which Adams won with the Speaker of the House, Henry Clay. With the support of the Speaker of the House, Henry Clay, who Adams would controversially appoint as his Secretary of State. As President, Adams called for an ambitious agenda that included federally funded infrastructure projects. The Democratic-Republican split into two major camps: the National Republican Party which supported Adams, and Andrew Jackson's Democratic Party. Interesting. I wonder if this is the big split between. I think it is. Wow, so this happens during Adams' presidency, where the Democratic Republican splits into National Republican and Democratic, which I don't know if this is the predecessor for the Republican Party, but maybe I'll click into that, add it to the never-ending, massive, ginormous reading list. So the Democrats proved to be more effective The Democrats proved to be more effective political organizers than Adams and his National Republican supporters, and Jackson soundly defeated Adams in the 1828 presidential election, making Adams the second president to fail to win re-election, his father being the first. So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Last paragraph. Rather than retiring from public service, Adams won election to the House of Reps, where he would serve from 1831 until his death in 1848. He remained the only former president to be elected to the chamber. Interesting. That is interesting. It's like you finish being president and then you stay in politics in the House of Reps. Interesting. Like this guy has I mean, I feel like there might be some ego. It might be hard to like be head honcho and then go to being just kind of a rep, line and file representative, like rank and file kind of politician in the party. It's I like that. After narrowly losing his bids for governor of Massachusetts and Senate re-election, Adams joined the anti-Masonic Party in the early 1830s before joining the Whig Party, which united those opposed to President Jackson. Anti-Masonic. Adams became increasingly critical of slavery and of the Southern leaders who he believed controlled the Democratic Party. He was particularly opposed to the annexation of Texas in the Mexican-American War, which he saw as a war to extend slavery and its political grip on Congress. He also led the repeal of the gag rule. The gag rule, which had prevented the House of Representatives from debating petitions to abolish slavery. Historians concur that Adams was one of the greatest diplomats and secretaries of state in American history. They typically rank him as an average president, as he had an ambitious agenda but could not get it passed by Congress. By contrast, historians also view Adams in a more positive light during his post-presidency because of his vehement stance against slavery, as well as his fight for the rights of women and Native Americans. Okay, we did it, guys. We did it, gang. We're moving on. Let's just see a couple more pics before we finish. We saw this one. That's the Hancock. Another painting. Another painting of him as a young man. Wow. Who is that? His wife? That's how passports looked back in the day. Another portrait where he looks kind of different in this one. The Adams-Onis Treaty, showing area claimed by the U.S. Okay, we're running out of time, so I'm going to blow through these. Yeah, a lot of... Whoa. Another daguerreotype. Daguerreotype. Whoa. That's like a proper photograph. It's pretty gnarly that we have a picture of the son of like the second president of the United States. All right, I'm gonna cut it here. That was all for this one.